Hello, happy Sunday. This is February 21st, 2021. I am here to do our 0 to 10 decan, our first decan for the month of Pisces. We just moved into the sun sign of Pisces on the 18th of February. And so, as I do every week, around 7 to 10 days, I introduce a decan for the week for that astrological sign and the planetary influence of that sign for that week. So I work with three different decks. My source deck is the Unified Esoteric Tarot, which I use as my guide for the decan readings. And then I have two cards in relation to the minor arcana card of influence for that particular decan. So with each decan, we have a new minor arcana card to reference and to harness the energy of that decan week. So I'm going to jump right into it. So we are 0 to 10 degrees, February 20th to the 28th. I'm going to show you the card here from the Unified Esoteric Tarot. And for each new astrological month that we move into, the planet that rules that astrological sign represents the first decan. Okay, so Neptune is the main planet that influences Pisces. Jupiter as well, but Neptune primarily because it is a planet that deals with water. It deals with intuition, deep emotions, stuff that is hidden. And that's part of the characteristics of Neptune. And Pisces is water element. It is also influenced by the energy of the moon, but not so much as Cancer. Pisces is more or less I could probably say the deeper side of Cancer. Okay. And I don't want to distract too much about that. I'll talk about that tomorrow when I do Mystic Moon Mondays. But Pisces deals more with the imagination, living away from the realms of reality. Not that they're daydreamers, they can be. I mean, they're highly creative, but their energy comes from a deeper source. And sometimes people find Pisceans difficult to pinpoint because of that. They're very much connected to their inner selves and discovering all the changes that are going in at that time. And Pisces is associated with the fish, so it moves. It's constantly in that realm of water. It's going with whatever comes to them, the experiences that they have at that moment, and how they handle them. So here with the Unified Esoteric Tarot, the key word is awareness. Okay, and that's in the upright position, and the reverse position is delusions. And then I'm going to talk about the Eight of Cups, that influence as well. But let's just talk about these characteristics. So with Neptune and Pisces, okay, we're dealing with, like I said, the unknown, mysterious. Pisces is dealing with those emotions that are deep-seated and trying to heal. It's bringing that awareness. It's finding that influence through Neptune and Pisces. Neptune is also affiliated with the deeper mysteries of spirituality, and that's what I associate with this card. I feel with Neptune and Pisces, this and awareness, the key of awareness, I feel by going into a practice, specifically because Neptune is of deep secrets and, the finding the mysteries of what's going on. Practices like the metaphysical studies of the occult, witchcraft, stuff that deals more with the natural element, the spirit, the stuff that we don't see, the feelings, how our mind works towards that, would really benefit Pisces, because it's that esoteric understanding that they would like to know about what makes the subconscious what it is. And so forms of divination, I feel, would be very helpful through the influence of Neptune and Pisces as a guide for bringing in that awareness. And once you have that spiritual awareness, and as you're learning, you'll discover those unknown aspects of who you are, and those aspects will start brightening up. They'll start moving you up from the deeper realms and putting you more up to the surface for that conscious level of connecting between the reality, the realm of the everyday, and also what's inside. And so by not addressing those awarenesses, what's hidden, and this is, Pisces are the influence of Pisces is very intense. And so you really need to be aware of what's going on. And if you don't have that awareness, and you don't have that connection to yourself, you'll be constantly looking. You have to make that effort. You have to find that connection. And also through that spiritual awareness, an emotional opening, you'll start feeling more compassion. Pisces are naturally compassionate. They're very sensitive to people's feelings. They will be there for you. But in a different way from Cancer. Cancer is nurturing. Cancer is also a water sign. But Pisces are almost empathic. They feel the hurt. They feel the happiness. They're deeply connected that way. But going back to delusions, if you don't find that spiritual emotional connection, and you could start finding ways to avoid the situation. There's some associations with the sign of Pisces that can lead to addictive behavior, to run away from the issue. It can lead to drinking, alcohol, or drugs, psychological issues, like changing the environment and making it what it is. And what you're seeing there is not what you're fully seeing. So in a sense, you're not being honest with yourself in the delusionary position. You're fooling yourself. And you could keep doing that. You could keep telling yourself that this is how things are, and this is my world, and this is, how I will handle the situation. But you're not really seeing it fully. When you're in this realm, Neptune and Pisces, you really have to really see and be honest with yourself. And through these practices, meditation, any of these deeper forms of spiritual practices will allow that awakening. But it'll take time, but you have to be open to it. So that's my connection with our keyword of awareness for this card for Neptune and Pisces. Spiritual awareness brings emotional opening to the heart. It brings more connection to your feelings and more honesty to how you feel about yourself and towards the situation that you may be contending with. And again, the opposite of the awareness is the delusion, creating your own environment, creating your own reality that may not seem real to other people, and seeing that that's that's the best route for you. And in some cases, it isn't, because you're only seeing it in one perspective, and it may not be helping you in that sense. Another aspect I want to bring about with Pisces, just talking a little bit about Pisces themselves, is they have, and this is where the influence of Jupiter comes in. If I keep glancing away, as I have a lot of notes here to make reference to. Pisces are highly creative, and their work, I feel with some artists who are Pisces, and they're heavily connected to who they are, and it shows in their work tends to be very ethereal. If you look at someone who's Pisces influenced or water sign influenced, there tends to be an emotional connection, spiritual connection when you look at their work. And it's very dreamlike, and it's very soothing. And that's one thing that is wonderful with Pisces, because when you speak or exchange information with someone who's Pisces, they have a very dreamlike perspective towards things, and it shows in their work. They're very intuitive, but they're also overly highly intuitive, and they have to be careful with that. This Pisces rules the 12th house, and that's the 12th house of secrets and karma. And so it could be a very difficult house based on what sign, and also the planet that's placed in that house. And with Pisces, let's say you have Pisces, Mars and Pisces. Okay, Mars is a fire planet, and Pisces is air, water. And so we have these conflicting. We have Pisces that just wants to be in that moment and just wants to experience what it's feeling, but to an intensity. And so the way that they would work, if it's Mars and Pisces in the 12th house, they would have a very direct approach. They really want to, deal with these situations. They may come across a little bit more aggressive. It may be psychologically a little jarring for someone who's Mars and Pisces in the 12th house to deal with these past actions, to deal with secrets, to deal with the unknown. So they have to be careful. Don't want to be overwhelmed, depending on the planetary influence when it's in that sign of Pisces or any other sign. So that's why the 12th house, for some people, it can be challenging, but it's good. This is a lesson. The 12th house, I feel, is the house of lessons. It's for us to really, really learn from what we've experienced in the past, and to bring that into the present state, and how that's going to shape us in the future. So I feel that's very important. So Pisces will have to take things, again, if depending on how well connected they are to themselves. For the most part, they're just really emotionally empathic towards everything, and you'll see it. Try not to get too overwhelmed, especially with Neptune and Pisces. You can take in a lot of emotions, especially when you have a watery planet, watery influenced planet as Neptune. You can really get lost in that, especially being in Pisces. You can find that comfort. It's similar to Scorpio, another water sign. They have such an intensity when they're looking into something, where they're trying to experience something that's so much that it can become something that they can't let go of, and becomes obsessive and becomes a little bit too much for that sign for Scorpio to handle. So with Pisces, slow things down. I always use the word slow things down if there's a card that's showing too much energy. You have to put things into perspective. And Neptune and Pisces can create that environment, but you don't want to get lost into it. I've mentioned with some of the water signs, when you go into that deeper realm of intuition, the psyche, the emotions, and it's leading you in a certain direction, but it could be pulling you down. You don't want to get stuck in that. You don't want to drown your own feelings, your own sense of self in that. So just again, let's bring awareness to this. Okay, so let's move along. There was a lot for me to express with Neptune and Pisces. Okay, so the card of influence that we have, and I have 3 different decks to work with, is the 8 of Cups. Okay, and so with our 8 of Cups, I'm going to show the Lumina, because I always show different perspectives through different decks. This is the Lumina Tarot. And the 8 of Cups that we have here, we see a pathway. It's in the realm of water. It's like a broken, I'm trying to think of the word for it. It's like a watery bridge, but it's broken, it's disjointed. And what we have to be careful here is we've just had an experience that that really didn't fulfill us, and it's time to move away from it. Just a brief description of the 8 of Cups overall. It's showing that there's a transformation taking place from an experience that we had, experience that we thought was real and honest, and it really ended up not being that. And so we didn't see everything fully for what it was. But this 8 of Cups is giving us this realization that it is time to move on. We're dealing with confusion, mistrust, and disappointment with the 8 of Cups. So with that, in this realm with the 8 of Cups, it's time to stop, time to self-reflect, and really see within, emotionally and spiritually, what needs to be let go of. We just had this experience, and we didn't see everything. We were emotionally, spiritually misled. And so we have to, with this broken bridge, we have to take guidance carefully and really be attuned, learn the lesson that came from that. Again, this is the time to walk away from that situation. It's almost similar to the 7 of Swords, which was our previous card for Aquarius. What are we walking away from? What are we moving away from? And same placement here is the bridge could be leading us away, or it could be guiding us back in. And so it's the perspective that you take, especially here with this, the 7 of Cups, or I'm sorry, with the 8 of Cups. How are you moving? Are you staying in that situation and not dealing with it? Are you moving away? And by connecting to this, again, going back to here, we bring awareness, self-reflection, taking time to look within, and that's what the journey of the tarot is, looking within and experiencing, depending on the suit and the element of influence, how we handle that. But by bringing, again, this connection to ourselves, we can find that understanding, we can heal, and we can find that love and honesty to yourself and bring it out to other people. Share it with other people. And by healing, you shine through. You're showing your most empowered self to others. It's like, wow, this person went through a lot and they came through. There's all potential and growth within the tarot. And again, it depends on the direction that you're going to take. And it's always good to move forward. We always want to move forward. We don't want to get stuck. We don't want to be standing here, on something that's not stable and looking in the distance. This could be looking back, if you will, and seeing the issues. And if that's the case, you start working on these, and you start straightening those planks so that you have the pathway that's balanced to move forward. Okay, but if you're here, you have to start working through these issues so you can continue on the pathway of healing and being more confident with yourself. The other card that I have here, similar, different style though, and this is Oak, Ash, and Thorn. Here's the version that we see here of the Eight of Cups. This is very similar to the Rider-Waite-Smith interpretation. We normally see 8 cups. In this case, it's acorns. And we have the squirrel. And this deck is represented by the creature of the squirrel and its connection to the acorns. I'm introducing this deck for this reading because it's a deck that I want to start connecting with. I got it a few months ago, and I want to start working with it more. So this is a little bit of a playful interpretation. Playful in the sense it's just that we're using animals and their tools that they associate with. So here we have the Eight of Cups. We see a full moon in the distance. And we see a river, calm river, but it's moving. And these acorns some of them are in the water, some of them look like they're on the land. And so, again, very similar. We are looking to relieve of that situation that really put pain and discomfort and misunderstanding to yourself. And so the cups are also empty, or the acorns are empty. So we saw that nothing came from it. You may have worked really hard towards a project or in a relationship, or just a personal goal, and emotionally you felt that it was the right thing, and then when you came towards the conclusion, in which we're heading towards the end with the suit, with it being 8, you realized something was amiss. And so we have to find the better route to continue forward. And looking within, the influence of the moon that we have here, and the water, the The water's calm. It's not showing any aggression in any way. It's just revealing that we have to take careful insight in the future on things that we do. And it's not going to happen every time. You know, we're gonna find the right way of things, and we're gonna move with it, and it'll produce results that will benefit you and everyone else. And then there'll be times like this with the Eight of Cups where it's just, wow, I really thought it was going to work and it didn't. And that's when, again, you start doing self-healing, you start looking within yourself. And to get those acorns, you know, filled up, put them back in order. Get them so that they're full of abundance and beneficial. Okay, the last card that I have here, as many of you know, I'm I'm working with the Tarot of the Holy Light, and this is the card of guidance. Now, I do point out, because the Astrological Association is different, I'm working with 3 different systems. I have the Golden Dawn, Astrological Association, and that's actually, I'm going to show you this card really quick. This is from the Pagan Otherworlds. This is for the Golden Dawn Associations. The Eight of Cups is seen as Saturn and Pisces. Tarot of the Holy Light. I was talking about Mars earlier. Here's Mars and Pisces. And then here, as I mentioned, as we start each new decan, 0 to 10 for each astrological month, it's Neptune and Pisces. So we have 3 different perspectives of planetary influence for each decan. So I'm doing it this way because I want to explore the different interpretations of these planets when they're in these decans in that astrological month. So I'm not going to talk too much about this Mars and Pisces, because I did make reference to it as the 12th. Pisces ruling the 12th house, and I did use the analogy of Mars and Pisces, how to work with that energy. Excuse me. But here, we're seeing a relationship of a time of self-healing. We have the sun and the moon. We're looking to those sources, the sun and the moon, for healing guidance. This is all about self-care, restoring the body, the mind, and the soul from many of the experiences, from many of the challenges that we have faced or we are facing. Excuse me again. Specifically, we're looking here about healing from the inner wounds, scars that we've had, that we may have not really tended to properly. You know, scars, they, depending on how you care for them, they're going to heal in a certain way. And with scars, with wounds, you have to have that time to let the tissue grow properly. You're going to put care into it. You're going to put medicine. You're not going to use that aspect if it's your hand or your foot. You're not going to use it. You're going to protect it. You're going to cover it. You're going to take care for it and let, hopefully, a scar grow nicely, and eventually it'll fade away. But in this case here, we have to be careful how we heal during this time. I'm going to take a sip of water. Excuse me one moment. You know, how much care are you putting into that time? Are we just reckoning that we did go through this situation and you're just going about your business emotionally? You have to heal. If it hurts, you have to stop. And dealing with these scars, these emotions, it's going to be painful. And if it's not dealt with in a proper, compassionate manner, we're going to have a wounded soul who's going to be left weakened and left defenseless, with their actions, because they just didn't come to terms with the different perspectives of what happened. This is confrontation. This is healing. This is, being honest with yourself. This is the part with Pisces. It's like, are you being truly honest about how you feel about the situation? And if you're not being honest, then that wound is going to stay open, may continue to grow, and it's not going to heal. You may continue this pattern, not healing and not taking care of yourself. And when that wound stays open, you're putting yourself into dangerous, toxic situations. What happens with a wound when you don't take care of it? It gets bad. And that's what we're saying. You can find yourself running away from that situation, and eventually you can end up in a place that's just extremely dark, and you're left vulnerable. Your insecurities are showing more, and you end up becoming, to the outside, someone that you can't trust, And so you have to rebuild yourself. You have to find that inner strength. You have to take care of that wound. And once that wound's been taken care of, the scar will build, depending on how big that wound is and how much time you've let it go. That scar will be there, and scars can be reopened, and they can be painful. And so by using these energies of the sun, of vitality and health and optimism and a nice, good perspective, use that strength, use that vitality for using the moon as guidance, emotional, going into that wound, looking at it, standing on the outside, looking inside. And I'll use the influence here a little bit with Mars and Pisces. Mars, use that energy, be direct. You want to heal, you want to get through this. You have to. If not, you just end up emotionally and spiritually and psychologically, all those different characteristics not doing any service to yourself. And you want to be there for people. You want to do the best you can. The best honest remedy for taking care of this, to avoid any of that, is just not wear your heart on your sleeve. Don't reveal your weaknesses or your insecurities. If you want to avoid situations of living too much in a dream realm, if you're dealing with stuff in the reality sense, with work, interacting with people, don't show any of your weaknesses. And I think this applies to all the signs. No one wants to show their weak side. Now, there are times where, you are hurt and you do have to release, and you have to call or reach out for help, and that's totally fine. But with Pisces can show too much of their emotions. And too much of that emotions, again, showing that could be in a negative sense, can be showing that weaker side. And when you have that weaker side, You have to be careful because then you could be susceptible for taking advantage of. Hence, being put in that situation with the Eight of Cups, I didn't see everything for what it was. You're like, what did I miss? You have to balance that reality. Come to terms. Come up to the surface, since we're dealing with water. Come up for air and really see things for what it is. So overall, with the Eight of Cups, of all of this, we're going to take in awareness, having that strong awareness, and not running away from situations, and breaking down these conflicts with self-honesty and support if you need it from other people. And just trust that by going through this whole process, this whole journey, will lead to, a clear perspective and healing and looking out for what's best for you. It's easy to get misled. We follow, for the most part, hopefully most of us follow our intuitions and we trust what we feel. But there's always that second, it's almost like angel devil. There's always that second side that's like, maybe that's not a good thing, And that's where you have to start determining, what are you going to trust, And that's almost a skill. There's some people that naturally, they are akin and they know when something doesn't feel right, or that purchase isn't going to be a good thing long term. They just know it. So by just honing in within yourself and avoiding situations, being misled, and spiritually, look to sources that can really open up those deeper realms of what we all have through, meditation. They're all forms of spiritual practices that are out there. We have religions, we have practices, we have philosophical beliefs. Find something that moves you, that you feel can really connect and bring that awareness, and to avoid, delusions, being misguided. And the moon with Pisces is very influential, and that influence can, for the tarot, the moon card is for Pisces. In the major arcana, it's the same aspect, being misled, but looking up also to the moon for guidance. Okay, the moon isn't two-faced. The moon reveals, and it goes through its phases. And when it goes through its phases, it goes through these signs, and these signs get influenced through the phases of the moon. So trust in the moon, in the direction that it takes you. In Pisces, with Neptune and Pisces in relation for this card, find some form of spiritual guidance that will open up that awareness. And then I'll show you really quickly here again, Saturn and Pisces. This is the Golden Dawn astrological correspondence for this first decan, Eight of Cups. Saturn is discipline. And so on this card, Saturn and Pisces, that's earth. Pisces is water. Earth and water work good together. And so Saturn can be of influence for Pisces in the sense of it's going to be challenging, but to really put things into that perspective, to get focused, and to really be direct in dealing with the energies that you have working with you. And then, of course, I have the Mars in Pisces, the tarot of the Holy Light. Fueling that energy. You're taking the discipline of Saturn. You're taking spiritual influences to help you, move out of that darker realm, to understand. And then we're using this energy for self-healing, Mars and Pisces, to really go out and take care of yourself. This is the initiating card to make it happen, to heal. And not to run away, and to deal with the wounds and any scar tissue from past incidences. And remember, Pisces, 12th house, dealing with past karma, and how it shapes us to where we are now and how it can shape us into the future. Choices that we make and how we deal with things. So that is a 0 to 10 Decan for the week of February 20th to the 28th. And I'll be back March 1st or 2nd. I have to give a day or two if I can't do it exactly on the day. And we're going to be moving into the 9 of Cups. And I don't have the next planet yet of influence, but it will be in Pisces. And we're going to move into the last, we have 8, 9, and 10. We're going to work through those 3 suits of cups to wind down our astrological year. So our 10 of Cups is going to wrap up the end of Pisces. Then we're going to be moving into a new astrological season with Mars. And I'm going to see if I will continue this series. I think I may actually stop it with Pisces and take a little bit of a break. But I'm enjoying sharing this information and seeing how each week we have these minor arcana card of influences. We have the different planetary influences in relation to that astrological month. And as I've always said in the readings, the signs that we have here, because they're placed in the cards, they're fixed signs and planets of guidance. It doesn't necessarily mean that we are Neptune and Pisces right now. Look astrologically where Pisces is right now, if you want to harness that energy of Pisces. And that's what I've been doing since the fall. I'm working with each astrological sun sign and working with its energy, regardless if I have it in my chart or not, and just looking at it and seeing the negative and the positive and learning from it and bringing that into my life on how I handle things. And so the 8 of Cups is just a wonderful start for this Decan, for the month of Pisces, to deal with stuff that's going within. And this Decan works perfectly because I just have a deck that I received that I will be doing a review of, the Cosmovisions, that deals with past life. So this is something that I'm going to be exploring, and I'll be interested to see how all of this works out, where it takes me, where it may hold me back, the whole journey that comes with it. So that's it. Any comments, please feel free to leave. And let's use this month of Pisces for, I'm not saying that everyone has been, is currently going through a situation where they're being misled. But let's just use the energy overall to find anything that is unresolved, anything that needs to be healed. Why is that pain still there? How much did we really connect to, with when dealing with a painful situation and moving on from it? It's a lifelong journey, healing. So you take the time that you have to make those steps again to heal and to get those cups or these acorns filled up to fix this broken bridge and straighten up those steps so you can continue forward. All right. Okay. Have a wonderful day, night, week. Any questions, again, feel free to leave them below. All my information to reach me is in the description. And I will see you on March 1st or 2nd for the second decan for the sign of Pisces. Thank you again.